Hey guys, what is up? It is StockMat998 here, and I am back finally with a brand new video. This is the Monaco Grand Prix in the Freddie Gray career mode, and for those of you that are asking, I do now have Verstappen at Red Bull in place of Danny Kvyat, who has now gone back to Toro Rosso. Obviously, I do apologise that there hasn't been an episode for quite a long time, a lot longer than normal, 2.5 weeks, nearly 3 weeks. Gotta apologise for that. I have had my first exam, so I've sort of been really focusing on that, and I have had a few issues recording this episode with, actually swapping Kvyat and Verstappen around in the mod. That's caused a few issues, but thankfully that's all sorted now, and hopefully I will be able to bring out more videos, as I do have a little bit of a break now, half-term holiday in the UK, so I should be able to make the calendar episode very, very soon. But obviously last time out in Spain, Freddie Gray picked up second place, only just losing out to Lewis Hamilton. A very, very close 10th Grand Prix in the end, with the rain coming down with just a few laps to go. Lewis Hamilton just edging out Freddie Gray for his first victory of the season. Obviously going into Monaco now, Freddie has not had a great time here in the past. Obviously season 1, his tyres fell right off the cliff and he dropped back down into 16th place, I believe. And obviously last season he had an incident with Lewis Hamilton where he got forced into the wall, and that's where the rivalry really started with those two, and it's really sort of kicked on ever since. It's gotten very exciting throughout this career mode. But obviously the aim for Freddie going into Monaco is to hopefully have pretty much a trouble-free Grand Prix this weekend. Obviously what's going to be crucial is the pit stop strategies and things like that, just to get that absolutely nailed, because obviously overtaking around Monaco is a very difficult task. But yes guys, hopefully you do enjoy today's video. If you do, obviously leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and obviously leave a comment down below regarding your thoughts. Obviously guys, I really like receiving comments from you. It is really reassuring as a content creator, to sort of see that my video is, making you guys actually comment on the race and stuff. It's really interesting, and it's really great for me to read. So, if we can keep that up, that would be absolutely brilliant. But without further ado, let's get into Monaco now for the qualifying report. Renault's engine upgrade comfortably secured a Q2 slot for Kevin Magnussen, while JOLYON Palmer had an incident with Nico Rosberg which caused him to start 22nd. Red Bull's Tag Heuer branded engine had also elevated them up the order. A positive to take for Fernando will be Wehrlein out qualifying Sauber's Felipe Nasr for 18th. The streets of Monaco clearly don't suit the Force India, as HULKENBERG and PEREZ were way off the pace. Contrasting fortunes were the case at Haas. Esteban Gutierrez only just scraping into Q2, with Frenchman Grosjean all the way up in 9th. With less engine reliance around Monaco, McLaren enjoyed their best qualifying of the season. Daniel Kvyat in the Toro Rosso shot the F1 paddock by stealing an incredible 4th position. Felipe Massa excelled and secured a front row grid position, with Bottas further behind in 6th. As a result of his incident with JOLYON Palmer, Rosberg would start 21st, with his teammate also disappointed, but in a more respectable 3rd place. It was Sebastian Vettel who's shown around the Principality of Monaco and secured pole position, with Freddie Gray struggling to 7th. Overtaking around Monaco is a near impossible task with opportunities fairly limited. Freddie will have to take full advantage of the start and also make most of the pit stop strategies if he has any chance of securing a high points finish. It is time now for the Monaco Grand Prix.
Okay, let's make the most of this start and put ourselves in a position to challenge for the win. Come on, Freddie!
So as we're now sitting on the grid in P7 for today's Monaco Grand Prix, as our engineer said, the start will be absolutely crucial if we're to get a good result today, as the lights are now out and away we go here for this Monaco race. Getting off to a decent start, actually a gap opening between Bottas and Kvyat as we head into turn 1. The gap closes slightly, actually clipping Bottas' rear tyre. Lucky not to use our front wing with the realistic damage mod. As we're going up the hill now, we might try and seek an opportunity and try and overtake Bottas perhaps around the outside. Are we going to do that? Freddie is trying it around the outside. What a move that is. He is up into P6. Now Danny Kvyat, after an exceptional qualifying, in P5 for the Toro Rosso. Still our teammate Sebastian Vettel was leading, but it was crucial that we managed to get Bottas on the ramp into the hill into turn 3. That was absolutely crucial. So going to the hairpin now, running off a little bit wide, getting too much understeer there. Although today we are running the maximum amount of front wing angle, which means overtaking on the straight when we do get an opportunity to will be incredibly difficult, and it will become a more impossible task. We're going to have to make the most of the pit stop strategies in order for us to be able to overtake and jump these guys ahead of us. Currently, actually, quite a train is beginning to form as we now cut into lap 3 behind our teammate Sebastian Vettel, with 6-car battle here for the lead.
Alright, so a 6-car battle for the lead is now formed. Just hold back and wait for the opportunity to pass.
Yep, so basically, just as our engineer said, obviously Freddie has been perhaps a little bit opportunistic with some of his moves in the past. So the engine's sort of telling him around Monaco, around the streets, just don't, go for these sort of opportunistic moves and sort of sit back and wait for an opportunity. Wait for an opportunity where you're close behind the guy and don't go for any stupid moves. So obviously, you know how easy it is to lose your front wing around Monaco. So just sort of a bit of guidance there just to benefit him, and hopefully we'll, get to the end of this stint with a whole front wing, although around Monaco that's more impossible. As you can see ahead, Vettel's still holding up the train with Massa in second, Hamilton third, Ricciardo fourth, Kvyat fifth. Obviously his first race for Toro Rosso after swapping with Max Verstappen, who is obviously now at Red Bull, but now heading into turn 3. Looks as if Hamilton tried to make a around the outside of Felipe Massa and he's pulled that off, and Freddie gets all out of shape, locking the rear tyres and almost spinning into the wall, but Ricciardo's gotten all out of shape as well, as we now head into Mirabeau, pulling off a very ballsy opportunistic move there, thankfully paying off for us. But I think Ricciardo got forced towards the inside wall by his former teammate Danny Kvyat, and that's why he got so held up, and that's what really opened up the opportunity for Freddie, and he took it thankfully without suffering any damage, so a positive so far.
There we go, brilliant move on Ricciardo, mate.
Yep, so it was indeed a brilliant move from Ricciardo, as you saw from the replay just then. Now onto lap 6, both Freddie and Kvyat getting incredibly close to the wall at the exit of Saint-Devote, and Ricciardo's trying to make a move. He has to back off, obviously, due to the track narrowing down a little bit. But now heading into turn 3 and the casino section, and the Williams of Felipe Massa seems to be going very slowly, and Hamilton seems to have passed him. So is Kvyat, and so is ourselves there. So Massa clearly struggling, but Freddie's also going for Kvyat as well. Can he pull it off around the outside of the hairpin? Not quite. Ricciardo is currently on his inside, but I wonder what happened to Felipe Massa. Actually, look on the dot, look on the mini-map there. There's the dot parts of Mirabeau, and I believe that is Massa. We are now down to 21 cars. I don't think that'll be a safety car, because obviously Mirabeau, there is plenty of runoffs, so the marshal should be able to clear his car without having to deploy the safety car or anything like that. But currently, on lap 7, I believe Hamilton's made a move round the outside of Sebastian Vettel, and Kvyat and Vettel get very close to the inside, to the outside wall, again, out of the exit of Saint-Devote, and Freddie's taking this opportunity here to try and overtake both the cars up the inside of Vettel. What a move that was. My goodness me, up the inside of turn 3, heading into the casino section, caught Vettel off guard, really. So Vettel essentially got overtaken by 3 cars in just the space of 3 corners there. So really not going too well for Vettel. I'm not really quite sure whether he has an issue or anything. Just seems to be going very slowly. And actually later onto lap 10, Daniel Ricciardo caught up to us and overtook Sebastian Vettel, who's a lot further back, as you can see on the mini-map. But interestingly, the dot there in the pit lane, that is Lewis Hamilton, who I believe actually suffered from front wing damage too substantial that he had to pit in on this lap.
We've run through the data and we feel it's necessary to risk a 2-stop. Box in this lap.
So it seems as if Freddie will be following him in at the end of this lap to risk a 2-stop strategy. I just don't think the tyres will make a 1-stop strategy work for him. So I believe the Ferrari team are right in calling us in at the end of this lap. Obviously Freddie will be obeying the team orders here to come in, even though most of the other cars seem to be doing a 1-stop. Although Danny Kvyat, interestingly, obviously the current race leader before we pitted in, is coming in with us for a set of option tyres, I'm assuming. So it looks as if obviously Freddie and Kvyat are doing a same strategy here. I'm not sure about Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo is going to be one to watch out for, because if we get caught up in some traffic here, Ricciardo could really hugely benefit from this. So let's see, are we going to rejoin in traffic or not? Where are the other cars on the track? And look at that, the number of cars that are flying past in the pit straight at the moment. Freddie is in all sorts of traffic. He's got to find some way of conquering these guys. Obviously Monaco is basically the trickiest track to overtake on the whole Formula 1 calendar. Thankfully, we rejoined ahead of Hamilton. That's one bonus, but all Freddie's going to be worrying about here is all of this traffic. He's got Felipe Nasr in the Sauber to conquer first, but then the rest of the cars to overtake. This will really put Freddie's driving skills to the absolute test. We do dive down the inside of Felipe Nasr heading into Mirabeau, and now Kevin Magnussen is ahead, and unfortunately Freddie goes in a little bit too hot there and loses an end plate. So that's really going to not affect him too badly at the moment, but it's definitely going to make for an extended pit stop next time round when he pits once more. But obviously guys, with all of this traffic, Daniel Ricciardo is going to hugely benefit, because assuming he's doing a 1-stop, Ricciardo will probably end up winning this Grand Prix if Freddie can't clear this traffic quick enough, as he, oh my word, he locks the rear brakes heading into the chicane there, and somehow avoids making contact with Kevin Magnussen. Drifting skills being put to the test there to the absolute limit, somehow managing to control it and somehow remaining in his current position. But just look at that, I'm not quite sure what happened. I think Freddie broke a little bit too late and just wanted to avoid hitting Kevin Magnussen, as he nearly does that again into Mirabeau. He needs to be a little bit more careful on the brakes, but now dives down the inside into the Lowe's hairpin and is now up into P12 out of 21. Obviously we lost Felipe Massa earlier on in the Grand Prix. Obviously one of Freddie's championship rivals, just is quite crucial actually. So Freddie once again getting kind of lucky in this race, but so far not really too lucky in his personal race. Still losing bags of time in all this traffic and still has quite a few more cars to conquer it. I think around 5 cars I can see on the mini-map, but now he is right behind Nico Hulkenberg and will probably be lining him up for a move. He's bearing down on him now as we approach Mirabeau. Will he pull it off down the inside of the Force India driver, and he has pulled it off up into P11. Now up the inside of the other Force India, Hulkenberg's teammate Sergio Perez, the Mexican driver, has been overtaken, and we are now into the points positions.
Absolutely fantastic, Freddie. Ahead of the 2 Toro Rossos and Gutierrez.
Yep, so just words of encouragement there from our engineer, and currently we have Kvyat, Sainz, obviously the 2 Toro Rossos and Gutierrez ahead of us. Can we maybe overtake Kvyat here? We're actually going very wide actually, just to see if we could try and get a run and just scare Kvyat and almost put him under pressure. Try and force him into making a mistake as we almost make contact with the rear of Danny Kvyat's car. We might try and take an opportunity here. He thinks better of it through the Lowe's hairpin. Might try and get a run through the tunnel on Kvyat, Gutierrez, and obviously Carlos Sainz is the one holding up this train. Obviously these guys ahead still haven't pitted aside from Danny Kvyat, so we're putting up into rich mix now, trying to get everyone on Danny Kvyat, maximum straight line speed. Let's see if we can try and make a move into the Nouvelle Chicane, I believe it's called. We're going to go down the inside of Kvyat now, very similar to what we did last year on Lewis Hamilton, and very nearly the same result, being forced into that wall. Thankfully Freddie has learnt his lesson from last year and did back off just at the right time to avoid any front wing damage, and just a repeat of that catastrophic incident from last season, which really sort of spurred on the rivalry between obviously the 2 Brits, Freddie Gray and Lewis Hamilton. But now into the pits, as you can see on the mini-map, is Sebastian Vettel. Now with the DRS open, we still have Sainz, Gutierrez and Kvyat ahead. Really can't pull off an overtake at the moment. We're not really getting the traction where it really matters, and currently obviously overtaking the Nouvelle Chicane is very hard, obviously without being forced into that inside wall. Now into lap 17, we're going to try and do the similar things again on Danny Kvyat by perhaps putting him a little bit under pressure by going a little bit wide into the Casino Stretch. Now diving it down the inside into the Mirabeau corner, now up into P5 at the expense of Danny Kvyat. Now also going down the inside of Esteban Gutierrez. Great composure there to overtake the Mexican driver at the Lowe's hairpin. 2 Mexicans, obviously Gutierrez and Perez, being overtaken at that corner. Adrian Sutil-esque moves there. Not really that we want to associate ourselves with that guy too much, but yeah, on to the end of lap 17. Carlos Sainz Jr. pits in at the end of the lap. Obviously this is lap 17 as when the one stopper, should be into the pits. We overtake Verstappen, but the gap to Daniel Ricciardo is 16.3 seconds. That is how much time we have lost in that train there. That is absolutely ridiculous, because Daniel Ricciardo was a second behind us at the point where we pitted. So it seems like, guys, that the win is completely out of the question. Now skipping on to lap 23, behind Danny Kvyat has now pitted, and Lewis Hamilton is up into P3. Just a little bit of a small corner cut there, because I didn't want to hit the ball obviously because of the realistic damage mod. So please don't roast me too much.
Box, box, box.
So one thing I didn't pick up on was the fact that we've lost a further 3 cars from this Monaco Grand Prix, and we're coming in for our second stop now at the perfect time really, but the team are putting on option tyres again, which means we're going to have to come back round and pit once more. Basically, this was my mistake. I accidentally selected the option tyres, tried to change it back to the prime tyres, but then hitting the fuel gauge at the same time. So brilliant decision making from me there. Fantastic stuff. But yeah, currently as you can see, Lewis Hamilton is in fact one of them that's retired, and he was literally right behind us at one point. So Hamilton was in third just before he pitted, so I'm not sure where he crashed at all. Maybe if you skip back around 20-30 seconds, you might be able to see on the mini-map whereabouts he crashed. I can only assume it's out of the exit of Saint-Devote, but thankfully, the safety car hasn't actually picked up the leader, Daniel Ricciardo, yet. So thankfully, the amount of time we've lost has been limited. We are still down in 9th place, however, behind McLaren Fernando Alonso and ahead of the Force India of Sergio Perez. So realistically, we've got a massive challenge ahead of ourselves for these next 12-13 laps. It's going to be a real challenge trying to overtake Fernando Alonso. Obviously, conquering those cars after our first pit stop was really tough with, you know, the limited overtaking opportunities, and also the fact we are running 11 wings today. It just really is difficult. It's getting us good X out of the corners, but really nothing at the end of the straight, which is where, you know, the performance really matters. We have been pulling off a lot of moves into Mirabeau and the Lowe's hairpins. That seems to be the best place so far. So we are now in lap 29. Daniel Ricciardo still in the lead, pulling away, setting the fastest lap as we get a beautiful run out of Saint-Devote, really maximising that exit as we now right on the back of Fernando Alonso, obviously in the McLaren Honda, as has got worse straight line speed than ourselves, where, you know, engine doesn't really matter too much, but hopefully we can pull off a very similar to what we have done on many other cars so far on this Grand Prix. Are we going to do the same? Yes, we are. This is officially Freddie's favourite overtaking spot, probably in Formula 1 around Mirabeau. It's a track like Monaco, which is so difficult to overtake around. You know, you've got to remember these moments where you are actually, you know, passing cars and actually pulling off some very decent manoeuvres indeed. But now onto lap 31, we're catching up to Esteban Gutierrez and Dani Kvyat. Gutierrez, for some reason, backs off when he was on the inside of the corner, and we've now lost both of our end players. I think Kvyat somehow managed to lose his whole front wing, just obviously made a mistake into turn 1, but stupidly Gutierrez backs off, and we are now down to 15 runners. I think that's because Kvyat's obviously retired because of the front wing damage, which may have also led to some suspension damage as well, which has probably really contributed to his retirement. But now we've got another safety car on lap 31 because of Kvyat parking up in obviously an unsafe place and having to stop all of a sudden. Now into turn 1, we've got Gutierrez, who has completely binned into Sandoval, and thankfully Freddie didn't lose his front wing, and he saw Gutierrez park up and just braked in time to avoid losing his front wing. But my goodness me, an absolutely huge crash there for the Mexican driver, and actually Grosjean up into P4, so Haas potentially getting a huge haul of points has unfortunately been ruined by Esteban Gutierrez. But if Grosjean maintains his P4, then hopefully Haas can also score some decent points today. Now safety car is obviously in this lap. Grosjean's ahead of us in P4, who we're really looking to overtake in this final stint. I think Verstappen's currently P3, Bottas P2, and obviously Daniel Ricciardo in P1, who's really had a flawless, faultless drive ever since that first round of pit stops for myself and Dani Kvyat. Just a real shame for Kvyat actually crashing out and obviously losing his front wing after really just a very solid drive. Just really unfortunate for him. But now we are right on the back of Romain Grosjean with 3 laps to go now.
Okay, Grosjean ahead has a 10-second time penalty. With the front wing damage, I suggest you coast to the end.
For some reason, Grosjean has a 10-second time penalty. Obviously not sure why. Our engineer didn't actually go into that much detail. But I think that sort of means we just got to be careful now and coast to the end and just avoid losing all of our front wing as we get very close to the wall on the exit of Mirabeau, heading down into the Lowe's hairpin. But on the final lap, guys, Daniel Ricciardo has won the Monaco Grand Prix. Obviously, we're going to get P4 thanks to Romain Grosjean's 10-second time penalty. All in all, a very quiet final stint, and I would say an okay race. P4 is not a podium, it's nothing special today, but considering the amount of traffic we had to conquer after our first pit stop, maybe 2 pit stops today was a mistake, and it does seem to be that way.
That's P4, a decent result considering the retirements of your championship rivals. Good job, man.
So, on the whole, guys, an okay race. Basically, as our engineer said, the positive take is that Hamilton, Vettel, and Massa, the 3 drivers currently behind us in the championship, have all retired. So, that is a real positive take. 12 points gained on those guys. Just to go through the results quickly, Ricciardo wins with Bottas in 2nd. A brilliant drive from him. Verstappen 3rd, obviously in his first race for Red Bull in this career mode. Perez in 5th, Hulkenberg 6th, Grosjean 7th, Magnussen 8th, Palmer in 9th for once getting some points after the Australia race, and Fernando Alonso for McLaren in P10, who got held up by Gutierrez quite substantially. But obviously our teammate Sebastian Vettel obviously did retire after an incident. I think that's why the safety car was deployed for the first time round. So now reviewing the Drivers' Championship after that Monaco Grand Prix, Freddie increases lead to 32 points. Obviously there's still many races to go, so Felipe Massa, Hamilton, Vettel can still quite easily close the gap, but I think just Freddie got very lucky today. Actually kind of saved him from that poor strategy call, the fact that Massa, Hamilton and Vettel did retire. Hulkenberg still in 5th with his teammate Sergio Perez in 6th. Ricciardo in 7th, really elevating himself up into the 7th place in the Drivers' Championship thanks to his win today. A very good drive, faultless drive really from start to, well, basically from when me and Kvyat pitted until the end of the race. Really just deserved the victory. A solid drive for him. Verstappen in 8th for Red Bull, Bottas in 9th, Jenson in 10th for McLaren, and JOLYON Palmer rounds at the top 11th for Renault in 11th. So now constructors, obviously Ferrari leading with 165 points, Williams 65 points back with 100 to break that 100 barrier. Force India in 3rd with 84, ahead of Mercedes now. Red Bull in 5th with 59, Toro Rosso in 6th, Renault Sport only, well, quite close behind, only a point behind them. Magnussen and also Palmer picking up some significant points today. A total of 6 points for them. McLaren Honda in 8th. Haas F1 in 9th. Obviously could have been a lot more for them had Gutierrez not crashed. And then Manor and Sauber round out the bottom 2 positions, 10th and 11th in the Constructors' Championship. Guys, if you have enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new to the channel. I promise Canada will be out very soon. Hopefully there won't be as much of a wait between the next episode. I know it was a little bit too long between Spain and Monaco, over 2 weeks. Hopefully it'll be under 2 weeks weeks' time. Hopefully it'll be more like 1.5 weeks. Hopefully this race around Canada will be out just after the Monaco race. It could even be next week, guys, because I've got a little bit of a break from exams. So hopefully I can produce more videos for you over half term. I can't guarantee that though, just hopefully it will be able to happen. But yes, if you're new, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I will see you next time for Canada. Bye bye.